Self-discipline is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful laws of success. Napoleon Hill repeatedly emphasized that before a person can control circumstances, money, people, or opportunities, he must first learn to control himself. Self-discipline is the ability to regulate thoughts, emotions, impulses, and actions in alignment with a definite purpose. Regardless of temporary discomfort or temptation, most people associate discipline with restriction, punishment, or force. In reality, self-discipline is freedom. It is the freedom to act according to your long-term vision instead of your short-term emotions. Every successful individual in history, whether a business leader, inventor, athlete, or philosopher, developed mastery over their inner world before mastering the outer world. Life does not reward wishes, it rewards behavior, and behavior is controlled by discipline. Without self-discipline, even the most intelligent, talented, or educated individuals fail to achieve lasting success. Intelligence without discipline leads to inconsistency. Talent without discipline leads to wasted potential. Knowledge without discipline leads to paralysis. Napoleon Hill observed that failure is rarely caused by lack of opportunity. Instead, it is caused by lack of self-control. People sabotage their own progress through procrastination, emotional reactions, excuses, and comfort-seeking habits. These behaviors are symptoms of undisciplined thinking. Self-discipline begins in the mind. Your mind is constantly receiving impulses: fear, doubt, laziness, desire, anger, pleasure. The disciplined individual does not eliminate these impulses. He controls them. He chooses response over reaction. He chooses direction over distraction. Hill taught that the subconscious mind is highly impressionable. Whatever habits, thoughts, and emotions you repeatedly feed, it become automatic patterns. Self-discipline is the conscious effort to program the subconscious with constructive habits instead of destructive ones. This is why discipline must be practiced daily. It is not a single decision. It is a lifestyle. Every small act of self-control strengthens the habit. Every time you resist distraction, choose effort over comfort, or act despite fear, you reinforce self-discipline. Without discipline, goals remain fantasies. With discipline, even ordinary goals turn into extraordinary achievements. Self-discipline bridges the gap between intention and execution in essence. Self-discipline is the foundation upon which all other success principles stand. Without it, desire fades, plans collapse, and persistence dies. With it, purpose becomes action, vision becomes reality, and life becomes intentional rather than accidental. Part 2. How lack of self-discipline destroys Napoleon. Napoleon Hill identified lack of self-discipline as one of the most common causes of failure. It silently destroys ambition, confidence, and momentum. The tragedy is that most people never realize that their biggest enemy is not the economy, competition, or circumstances. It is their inability to control themselves. One of the clearest signs of weak self-discipline is procrastination. Procrastination is not laziness. It is emotional avoidance. People delay action because they want to avoid discomfort, uncertainty, or effort. This habit compounds over time, turning small delays into massive failures. Another destructive result of undisciplined living is emotional decision-making. People react based on mood rather than logic. They quit when they feel tired, argue when they feel angry, overspend when they feel insecure, and give up when they feel afraid. These reactions sabotage progress, Lack of discipline also creates inconsistency. One day you are motivated, the next day you disappear. One week you work hard, the next week you quit. Success, however, responds only to consistency. Opportunities reward those who show up repeatedly, not occasionally. Hill explained that undisciplined people allow external circumstances to control their inner state. A small setback ruins their confidence. A minor criticism destroys their focus. A temporary failure convinces them to quit. This emotional vulnerability keeps them stuck in mediocrity. Another major consequence is loss of self. When you repeatedly break promises to yourself, your subconscious learns that your words have no value. Over time, confidence erodes. Self-belief weakens. You stop trusting yourself. This internal damage is far more harmful than external failure. Financial problems are often rooted in lack of discipline. Overspending, impulsive decisions, lack of saving, and avoidance of responsibility create long-term instability. Hill noted that money responds to discipline, planning, and controlled behavior, not luck. Health issues also reflect lack of self-discipline. Poor eating habits, lack of exercise, irregular sleep, and neglect of mental health gradually weaken the body and mind. A weak body supports a weak will, creating a vicious cycle. Perhaps the most dangerous effect of undisciplined living is regret. Regret is the pain of knowing you had potential but failed to act. It is the realization that opportunities passed not because you were incapable, but because you were inconsistent. Napoleon Hill warned that life does not wait. Time continues to move forward regardless of your readiness. Those who lack discipline fall behind silently, until one day they realize the cost is too high to ignore. In short, lack of self-discipline does not cause dramatic failure overnight. It causes slow, invisible decay. Dreams fade quietly. Potential dies gradually, and excuses become permanent. Part 3. How self-discipline transforms ordinary people into leaders. Self-discipline is the trait that separates followers from leaders. Napoleon Hill observed that leadership begins with self-leadership. A person who cannot control his own habits, emotions, and impulses cannot effectively influence or guide others. Self-discipline creates reliability. Disciplined individuals do what they say they will do. This builds trust. Trust builds influence. Influence creates leadership. People naturally follow those who are consistent, calm under pressure, and focused on long-term results. One of the greatest advantages of self-discipline is clarity. When your mind is disciplined, distractions lose power. You think clearly, prioritize effectively, and act decisively. This mental clarity allows you to see opportunities that others miss. Discipline also strengthens persistence. When challenges arise, they always do. Disciplined individuals continue forward. They do not rely on motivation, which fluctuates. They rely on commitment, which endures. This is why disciplined people often succeed even when more talented individuals quit. Hill emphasized that self-discipline aligns behavior with purpose. When you know your goal and discipline your actions accordingly, progress becomes inevitable. Small, repeated efforts compound into massive results over time. Another transformation occurs in confidence. Every act of discipline is a vote of confidence in yourself. Each time you follow through despite discomfort, your belief in your ability increases. Confidence built through discipline is unshakable because it is earned, not imagined. Self-discipline also attracts opportunity. Employers, partners, investors, And collaborators seek individuals who demonstrate control, reliability, and consistency. Discipline signals maturity, seriousness, and leadership potential. Furthermore, disciplined individuals experience emotional stability. They are not controlled by anger, fear, or frustration. They respond strategically rather than emotionally. This emotional control gives them an advantage in negotiations, relationships, and decision-making. Hill also linked self-discipline to spiritual growth. When individuals control lower impulses and focus on higher purpose, they experience inner peace and fulfillment. Success without discipline creates chaos. Success with discipline creates balance. Ultimately, self-discipline transforms life from reaction to intention. Instead of being controlled by circumstances, you become the architect of your destiny. You choose your habits. You choose your responses. You choose your direction. Napoleon Hill concluded that the person who masters self-discipline gains power over every other principle of success. Desire becomes focused. Faith becomes action. Persistence becomes natural. And goals become inevitable outcomes rather than distant dreams. Self-discipline is not about being harsh with yourself. It is about respecting your future. It is the quiet decision to act when emotions say stop. Every great achievement is built on thousands of small, disciplined choices made when no one is watching. Motivation fades, excitement disappears, but discipline remains. Without self-discipline, goals stay on paper and potential dies silently. With self-discipline, even slow progress compounds into unstoppable momentum. Discipline trains your mind to obey your purpose, not your mood. It separates those who dream from those who execute. In the end, life does not reward intention or talent, it rewards control, consistency, and commitment. The moment you master self-discipline, you stop chasing success and start attracting it.